want to say to fixate on this, but to always come back to this as like your home base, because this is going to tell you what's happening before anything else does. And as you're maneuvering, one thing to look at is the RPM, because if you start climbing, since it's not constant speed, it'll actually start to slow down on you.
Right.
As I pitch up.
Right, because the engine's having to work hard, so it's slowing it down.
Right, so it's slowing it down, so you can see the RPM starting to drop off as I climb. And so as I level off, the RPM doesn't necessarily come back to where it was. It'll come up a little bit, but it might not be where I wanted it to be. So as you check your instruments, periodically come down here to look at your RPM. Make sure it's about 2,300.
Right.
So the more stable this is, the more stable your pitch and bank are, the less these other instruments are going to change a little bit slower. It's going to make life a lot easier.
See, I can kind of feel this. It's weird, like if there's a change in the RPM.
Yep, you can tell.
You can tell from the vibration of the.
Yep, from the vibration, from the sound, from the way it handles.
Right.
So, but most of the point I want to get at, you should just be able to fly instruments with just a few fingers. That's how well you need to get it trimmed out. And so what was happening earlier too is you're too far nose down, and you're focusing on the trim. So you're basically trimming for nose down. And so you say, oh, okay, well, I'm too nose down, then you bring it up. And so now you have too much nose down trim.
I was just fighting myself.
Right, you're just fighting yourself. So whenever you make a turn, just a nice, stable bank and stop the bank. Always focus on where that ball is.
But see, it wants to keep on.
Yeah. So this is actually a cool demonstration of dihedral. All right, the way the wings are kind of tilted up like that. So if I bank this much and just let go, if I stay coordinated, it'll slowly come back to level, very slowly. All right, this is part of the stability feature with dihedral. All right, we get to a certain point with the dihedral, it's about 30 degrees.
Uh-huh.
All right, right about here, we're starting to get to kind of the unstable characteristics of dihedral. Normally, that like upsweep in the wings wants to roll us level. Except when we get to this point right about here, right about 30 degrees. So I'll just trim for that just to show you. Don't worry about the altitude.
Okay.
Watch, it's gonna hold it. It's not coming back.
Okay.
This is called an overbanking tendency. So as I go past 30 degrees, it's gonna keep going. See that?
Yeah.
So this, when you hear the term overbanking tendency, that comes from the inherent problem with dihedral that below 30 degrees of bank, it's nice, it helps you stay upright. But once you get past a certain angle, it actually starts fighting you a little bit. So any bank beyond about 30 degrees, it's going to try to get even worse. So this is why I don't like doing steep turns in IFR. Because when you're banked like this, if you look away for just a second, you notice how it starts to just get worse.
Right.
Everything gets worse really, really fast.
Right.
That's why it's always best to just do nice, consistent, standard rate turns, nice and slow and nice and deliberate with your movements. So, that makes sense?
Yes.
So we talked about a lot of stuff here, fixation, kind of omission of different instruments. This is good. We saw a lot of the problems that are inherent with instrument flying. If you don't remember anything from the day, always remember, trust your instruments.
Always trust
These
your
are
instruments.
always right.
You know what's odd is like I had a science teacher in 8th grade that he had a Cessna and he went over basic avionics with it, aeronautics. Like they rotate around 55 miles an hour, and he called this artificial horizon at the time. And he said, you always, and it stuck on my head, you always trust your gauges.
Yep.
No matter what.
No matter what. Yep, and it'll feel wrong. So we so we can illustrate how your body deals with. Let me know if you get queasy. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I just want to illustrate a point.
Okay.
All right. So close your eyes.
Okay.
All right. And close, and I just want you to just tell me what the airplane's doing. What you think it's doing. Are we flying straight and level? Are we in a bank, turn, climb? And just keep talking to me and tell me what you think the airplane's doing.
Okay. I felt like we were going to the right a little bit. Now, I honestly feel like we're going like this.
Okay.
That's what I feel like.
All right, so keep talking. What else is happening? Maybe things that you notice.
I feel like we're going this.
Okay. So keep your eyes closed.
Eyes are closed.
All right.
Now, went this way.
So we're turning left.
And No, I don't feel anything. Are we going down?
Okay, so you think we're going down? All right. Down to the left or down to the right?
Well, we were, like, I felt like we were going this, and then we came back this way a little bit. I still feel like we might be coming down just a touch.
Okay.
This way. But I don't, I'm just guessing, Ron.
No, that's good.
I feel like maybe did we come up a little bit? Now we're going this way. Back.
So we're in a left turn?
I don't know if we're left turn, but we went this way and then we came back.
Yeah.
Now I feel like we're going this way. Coming up. No, going down. Now we're coming back this way. Yeah, I feel like we're... Crash.
So what way do you think?
We came up. My ears are popping.
Alright. So you think we're straight and level?
I think we're straight and level right now.
Okay, open your eyes.
Oh, we're not.
Nope.
We're turning.
Yeah, we were like down like this when you were like how we're straight level.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's, at first it's kind of easy to get the changes, but as your body and your inner ear get used to it, that's when it starts getting harder. So you notice the longer we did it, the harder it became.
Right.
As your body slowly starts to lose that reference.
Right.
And this is where people crash in IFR because it's not right away. When they go into the clouds, they're fine. They go on the instruments, they're fine. But it's like, whenever they get like a yaw movement like this, or like a big updraft, because clouds are not smooth. Like, they're usually pretty bumpy.
Okay. That's
when people start getting like this like inkling of like, this doesn't feel right. And the longer they do it, the more that like distrust starts to creep in. So the odds of all of these failing are very, 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 very unlikely.
Right.
So, and they all have different indicators that if they fail, like the attitude indicator has a little flag that comes down if it's failed. We have a vacuum gauge. If you're getting good suction on the gauge, two instruments should be working fine.
Right.
The odds of them both failing are not likely.
If we lose the vacuum, we would lose these two.
Right. Even if we lost those two, the altimeter is basically going to tell us our pitch as well as the airspeed. Because if we're pitched down,
and then this would tell us whether we're going up or down.
Right. So see,
regardless of.
Right. Regardless of that, there's always another way to tell if something's happening.
So I mean, even though these are lagging, we may be doing this.
Right.
But we're not going to be just.
We're not diving.
We're not crashing.
Right. And actually, what a lot of people don't know is this needle is way more sensitive than this needle. This needle tells us the rate, but it's delayed. And the needle, if you look at it very closely, will tell you almost instantly when you start moving down. Okay. And you can see it kind of leads that needle.
Okay, yeah.
So when I'm flying partial panel, that's what the instrument version of this is called. If you lose these, kind of look right at that needle. This is going to tell you first initially what's happening. This is eventually going to tell you the rate, but this is delayed by about 6 seconds behind that. So, but yeah, so we can see we can get pitch information from these two instruments. We could get heading information from our compass. We can get bank information from our turn coordinator. So we can get a lot of different stuff from different places.
Is that something you end up practicing an instrument? Is like partial panel?
Yep, that's exactly.
Because I know, like when this stopped moving, this
real
was
quick,
still.
Let's switch tanks.
Okay.
So I don't burn the right side off completely.
Left tank.
Thank you. All right, yeah, that's exactly what it's called. This partial panel.
Like, because I noticed when you stopped,